What's up, beautiful people? I'm Erin, and this is Erin on Demand. And today we have a guest. Alexa is here. If you remember, she was on my channel a while back because we launched the top 3 notebooks for the first time, and now we have completely, we're relaunching. We have new notebooks, we have a new brand, and of course I had to call Alexa because she is such a great project manager for this. So in this video, we are going to be talking about how to take an idea all the way through manufacturing, through design, through concept, all of that stuff, and how do you get it into your hands, honey, okay? So if you are somebody who has a product or wants to have a product, then keep watching. So first things first, Alexa, welcome back.
Hi.
Can you just give us a brief introduction and then we're gonna get right into it?
So, hi everybody. So excited to be here. I am Alexa Settles. I am a mom, an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, and a lover of all things paper goods, specifically planners and notebooks. And I have had my own business for quite some time. I launched Glamorous Planning in 2017. And then just fell in love with helping other entrepreneurs launch their own paper goods. So here we are today.
Yes. So I love that me and Alexa connected some years ago when I was like, I don't know how to do this. And she had Glamorous Planning and it looked amazing. So she ended up, I was like, girl, instead of you telling me, how about you just help?
Yes.
And so we have been working together on this for some years now, from the first iteration to the new iteration. And when it comes to the process, let's first start. Someone has an idea of the type, like they want to create a planner or a notebook. What is the first step that they need to do to get that idea moving?
So the first thing I would always recommend is to flush out your thoughts and get this big idea onto paper. Write down what you envision your planner or your notebook or your journal to look like. And there's so many elements to creating a paper goods product, from your paperweight to your design, to the color palette, the number of pages, who this audience that you want to reach. So getting your idea from your head onto paper is key.
Yes, I totally agree. And one thing that really helped me in this phase too, because there are so many options and things to consider, is going to Target or Walmart or Office Depot or somewhere and just looking down that paper planner notebook aisle and seeing what was there. Because sometimes even that is kind of like, wait, what do I like?
Exactly.
You know? So if that is something that you kind of get stuck at, I would definitely recommend going to the store and just kind of seeing, feeling, touching for yourself to see what you like enough to incorporate into your own. So they've got their ideas out on paper, then what?
Okay, so the next thing I would recommend is figuring out who you want your designer to be. Finding a really good graphic designer to take what's on paper and actually bring it to life digitally is going to be that visualization that you need to see to take it to the next level.
Yes, I totally agree. And with the design process, you might have to go through a few phases.
Yeah.
Because I know for the first top 3 notebook, we had 4 or 5 different page layouts that we saw before we picked one. So I would recommend, if you do find a good designer you like, for one, make sure they flow with your aesthetic.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that's important.
If you like really simple, minimal, you need to find a designer who can design in that way. Yeah. But also see if they can give you a couple different templates to kind of we're not templates, but layouts.
Yeah.
So you can know which one feels the most authentic to you and how you want your product to go. Okay, so what would you say are the top key things to think about when you are designing a notebook?
That's important. So cover material, paperweight, your dimensions, the binding, and your accessories or your embellishments. Those are, to me, the top 5 things that you don't want to compromise on. So,
I agree. And it's funny because when you're a novice like me and you have no idea what any of this stuff is, you are just looking at, you're not thinking about what color ink do I pick? What color paper do I pick? How thick is the paper? These are also the things that when you do go to the store and you're touching and feeling, pay attention to those small things, not just oh my God, this is so cute.
Right.
Because all of that stuff was like going over my head when we first like started working together, and you asked me like, okay, these are some things to consider. Do you want ivory paper, white paper,
You're like,
cream paper, beige paper? I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know all of these options existed,
Exactly.
you know? So that is really key. I'm so glad you hit on those 5 things. So now that, okay, we're going through the process. So we've got our idea out on paper. We've got the design, or we know what to think about when it comes to the design. So now once you do have the design, what is the next step? How do you now figure out who's going to produce this? Who's going to manufacture it?
Yeah. And I think that's the part where I kind of want to destigmatize. I don't think manufacturing has to be as complex and overwhelming as it feels. There's options, right? You can do domestic, where you manufacture in the United States. And then you also can go overseas and manufacture in Asia. There's a ton of manufacturers to choose from. One of the websites that I absolutely love is Alibaba. They're really resourceful when linking you up with Asian manufacturers that can help you bring your product to life. They have a really good, trusted system to find somebody that produces quality products, that is timely, that's professional. Domestically, I think that might be a more challenge to find. So linking up with maybe a project manager to kind of help connect you with, domestic manufacturers might be a good thing to do. But finding your manufacturer using resources like Alibaba to, source someone is going to be going to help you be successful.
Yes, and what are some of those things that you should look for? So if you do go to Alibaba to find a manufacturer, is there some type of process that you would recommend? Like they should be verified, or they should have X amount of reviews, or positive? Like what are those things?
Exactly what you're saying. So making sure that they're verified, making sure that you're looking at the reviews to see what are other people that have worked with them saying about them. And then also something that I always look for is the number of years they've been in business, because that's going to be a key to tell you like how long, like they've been doing this for a long time. Like they have their processes down pat. They have a very quality staff. Like I think that might be something that I didn't catch in the beginning. And I wish that I did. So the number of years in business, because then like they've been doing this for a minute now.
Yes, they got that thing on lock. Okay, so what would be the pros and cons of manufacturing here versus in China or in Asia?
So manufacturing in the States, you are going to be able to get a smaller quantity. The minimum quantity requirement is going to be less. So if you're just starting out and you're nervous about, ordering thousands of, journals or notebooks or planners, you might not want to take that big of a risk financially. So manufacturing in the States is going to allow you to, be able to order a smaller amount just to, test it out and see if this is something that you really want to go for. And then also you can get your product sooner because you're manufacturing in the States. Now, if you go overseas to like a China manufacturer, the minimum quantity order is larger, but you're going to get a better price, which is really key, because then you can like optimize your profit margin and make a lot more money. And that's what we want at the end of the day. We want to make as much money as possible.
Period.
Yes. Now there are some cons, or I would say there's some differences, right? So the shipping time is a little longer. You're looking at like maybe a month to ship product over here versus like in the States, you're like, maybe a week or two, depending on who you go with. So, you have to really plan out if you're going overseas for sure.
Yes, and for me, like with our manufacturer, I forgot what I was about to say.
Okay, well, at least it's not just me, but I feel like I'm doing okay.
You're doing
Trying
good.
to keep the energy there.
No, you're doing great.
Okay.
All right, so now that we are knowing how to reach out, we're going to use Alibaba if we want to manufacture overseas. Although I will say, to your point, like don't assume that just manufacturing overseas is better, because you also don't want to be sitting on a whole bunch of units that you can't sell. Even if that means the profit margin is higher, it's like, what's the point if you're sitting on 300 units that you sitting there, So now that we're, gonna look and source a good manufacturer, once you do that, then what? Are you asking for samples? Are you sending the files? Like, tell me about what happens once you do find a manufacturer you're thinking about moving forward with.
So first thing, we want to get those files in their hands so that they can make us a sample. This is another no compromise step. You absolutely want to see what those digital files are going to look like in real life. So we're requesting a sample. We might request a few, right? Depending on if you have different design variations, you want to be able to lay them out side by side to see what this cover looks like, what this paper, cover material looks like. You really want to be able to see all of your options so you can make a very confident decision when you're selecting your final product that's going to go into mass production.
Yes, I totally agree. And I want y'all to know we put action behind what we're saying, because we have all of these samples from the latest top 3 notebook, and we didn't actually go with any of these designs not because we didn't like the samples, but because my audience wanted something different. They liked the original version, which was fine, but that's why having samples is also good from a marketing perspective. Like, do not be afraid to show your community this process, because at the end of the day, they are the consumers, and you want them to want the product that you are creating
in the process,
and
right?
feel included. So we actually went with 3 different samples. You don't obviously have to order this many, but I just wanted to know, like, okay, which one am I gonna like the best? And with different materials, even like this is a linen cover, this is a matte cover, like this has black corners, this has gold. So it's just like we really try to give some variety, which is something that you recommended. Like, Erin, if you're thinking about it, just get the sample, because it's worth it to see it in real life than to get a whole bunch.
And you won't be satisfied if you don't know what that other cover would have looked like.
Exactly. And then even it gives you ideas of how you might want to expand in the future if you want to use that design later on. So definitely get the samples, and it's just exciting. Like when you get that first sample and you're like, oh, this is mine. Like this is a real thing. So we've got our samples, and it's time to make the big order. How many products do you recommend ordering on your first go round?
So domestically, it can vary. You can do as small as 50 or 100. Just keep in mind your price is going to vary based on your quantity order. If you're going overseas, you're going for it. The minimum quantity order is typically 500. So just keep that in mind. You will have a lot of products.
That's a lot. That's a big palette.
Oh yeah.
It is, because my first order was 500 and it sold out really quickly. Thank the good Lord. But it still was a lot. It was a lot of units. So,
and then you have to and you go through all of those products and inspect them. So it's a lot.
Yes, you inspect them, and then you also are figuring out packaging. Like, so once you get that, then what? Like, what are those other little details that kind of make the product pop? Packaging, I would say. Like, what are your recommendations on packaging, and then like kind of launching, or maybe what you do leading up to a launch?
So packaging is really important. I feel like in this era nowadays, just packaging is it's a part of the experience, right? So you can do something very unique, like a keepsake box, where your notebook or your planner or your journal is going into this beautiful keepsake box that actually matches your brand aesthetic. There's custom mailer boxes, and I can share a ton of like different resources, but you can do custom mailer boxes, you can do custom tissue papers and stickers. You can add different accessories to your planner or notebook to launch with. So
yes, and we did a keepsake box with the first round of the top 3 notebooks, which everyone loved, but we decided to not go with it this go round, because after a while I was like, okay, what do I do with these boxes? But instead we were like, let's do something more functional. And so we decided to do these what are they called?
They call them like pin loops.
Oh, pin loops. Okay, so we did the pin loops. It has the logo of the company, Simplement and Company, on there, and then you can put your pin in there. You can also use it to mark the pages, like whatever page you're on. So it's really nice, because I found myself leaving my notebook open all the time because I didn't want to lose my page. But now I can just, mark my page so I can just see how pretty it is. So beautiful. Thank you. So, you can get creative with what those accessories or how you add to that experience. But yes, packaging is one of my favorite things.
That's the fun part.
It just makes it so fun. Okay, so we've got that. And then last but not least, when it comes to launching, like, would you say it's worth it to do a pre-sale, or do you think people should just kind of go all in and like order the product?
Yeah, I feel like the paper goods industry is known for pre-sales. That is a really good way to gauge, the audience's interest in the product, right? So pre-sales is something I highly recommend. Typically, 30 days before if you can, a couple of weeks, just getting an opportunity for your customers to start getting excited about the product before it actually launches. And they also feel like they're just getting this exclusive buy-in before it goes public, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, love that. Yeah. Well, this was super helpful. So before we talk about how people can work with you, I want to ask you, because I know we're going to get a ton of questions about this, who our manufacturer is. So please share your thoughts on, just in general, when people ask, because I've seen other videos like this where people are talking about their manufacturers and a lot of people ask them, and it's just proprietary information. So can you just share like how to approach that?
Yeah, I think it's a question that I get all the time, and I have, trusted manufacturers that I work with that I really enjoy the relationship that we've built. So I would say it's definitely proprietary. It's something that it's an exclusive opportunity that you get to work with me. Working with manufacturers that I've worked with for over 5 years now. So I have that relationship. It's much more of a simpler process when they have this single point of contact that they can work with. And I know the questions to ask for, exactly what to ask for so that you're getting the best out of the experience the first go around.
Yeah, I agree. So, and then it's just like when people have something that is dear to them, you don't always want to share that with everyone.
Yeah.
It's really simple too.
That too.
So, I mean, you guys do your research. That's one of the perks of working with Alexa, is that she does have these great relationships, so you don't have to go digging for a manufacturer, and that's part of what she offers as a service. So how can people work with you?
So to work with me, you can head over to my website, alexasettles.com. I have a ton of information on there as to how my product management services work. We'll start with an introductory call, or I like to call it like the initial clarity call, and then we'll go through strategy, the roadmap. We'll touch on the manufacturing process. I want to make it as simple as possible and just make this experience fun, right? It shouldn't be stressful. I'd love to take the stress away from people because I've done it for many, many years. So that's like one way to work with me. Another way, if you're not ready to go all in, I have a really wonderful ebook that you can, take advantage of, and it tells you, step by step all of the process for launching your own product and a ton of best practices so that you can avoid, making a ton of mistakes, the do's and don'ts of, launching a planner. So
yes, and I feel like when you have somebody who's supporting you in this way for a project like this, it doesn't feel so gigantic, Sometimes it's very overwhelming when you have this idea and you have absolutely no idea how to bring it to life. But I think working with somebody like Alexa kind of demystifies the entire process, which is nice. So
I appreciate that.
If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Alexa. I will leave her information down below. And let us know. I think in the video before this, we're showing you the unboxing of the new notebooks. But let us know what you guys think. I will also leave a link to the wait list down below so you guys can make sure you are first to know when they come in. We have black and taupe this time. We have two colors.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure they're going to go very, very fast. So please make sure you get on the wait list. And I love you guys. I will see you on the next one. Thanks again, Alexa. Bye for now. Bye.